Morning, church. I am bringing you this morning's devotional, and I'm reading from Jeremiah 31 verses 15. And it says this is what the Lord says. A voice was heard in Ramah, a lament with bitter weeping, Rachel weeping for her children, refusing to be comforted for her children because they are no more. Now, who is this Rachel Jeremiah is talking about? He is talking about Rachel as in Rachel in Genesis, which is Rachel, one of Jacob's wives. And Jacob was obviously the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. So basically, Rachel was the mother of Israel. Now remember that, because that's really, really important. But sadly in Genesis, we read that she died giving birth to her second son, Benjamin. And it was a really, really distressing time. And if you read Genesis, you can really read how distressed Rachel was. And sadly, she died, and she was not just weeping for her children. She was weeping for her children's children, her children's children's children, because she knew what Joseph and she knew what Benjamin were going to be born into. And she knew that she couldn't do anything about it because she was dying. So she was bitterly, bitterly, bitterly sad. And then we jump to Jeremiah's day, and Jeremiah reads these words to his people because he wanted to bring great comfort to the people in Jeremiah's day. Because obviously in Jeremiah's day, there was total disarray, there was total just horrendousness that you are very aware of. But if you don't know, read Jeremiah and you will know. So he really wanted to bring great comfort. But how is weeping Rachel? How is weeping? How does that bring comfort? Because if we read on at the next few verses, it says this. This is what the Lord says. Keep your voice from weeping and your eyes from tears, for the reward for your work will come. The Lord's declaration, and your children will return from the enemy's land. There is hope for the future. The Lord's declaration, and your children will return to their own territory. Now that is hope, and he is prophesying there, and he is using Rachel to prophesy, because actually Rachel is representing all of the mothers across the land over many, many years that have lost their children to captivity, that have lost their children through getting dispersed everywhere in the land. So he just really wants to bring this comfort, because he wants to say to his people, there is somebody coming. There is somebody coming that is gonna wipe all of this away. And we jump forward where Jeremiah's prophecy is fulfilled. And we read that in Matthew chapter 2, verse 18. And it says this. A voice was heard in Ramah, weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and she refused to be consoled because they were no more. So again, it's the fulfilling of Jeremiah's prophecy. He was talking about King Herod. He was talking about when King Herod was enraged with anger and jealousy about this Jesus person that has been born, and everybody is calling him king. So he orders all the baby boys under 2 to be murdered. And that is really, really, obviously, I can't quite imagine what that must have been like. All the bloodshed that was going on, all the violence that was going on in Bethlehem. Rachel was weeping. She was weeping again, representing all of the mothers. But through her weeping came great hope, because as we know, Mary and Joseph escaped, and Jesus was safe. And then Jesus came back, and we know the story. Jesus came back. Jesus grew up. Jesus died on the cross for us, and Jesus is gonna be coming back, where he will wipe every tear away from our faces. If you are like weeping Rachel this morning, if you are really weepy this morning, I just want to encourage you this morning, church. Go to him. He will give you hope. He will give you joy. And just the knowledge of all of these messianic prophecies that we've heard over the last couple of weeks. What great hope, what great joy that we can get excited about. So church, this morning, if you are in distress, go to him and he will comfort you.